the other day we did something that I never really do. I put out a bit of a rant video, you could say, talking about the effect of the newest update to the reserve system. Now, to round it all up for you guys, because it was a 21-minute video just that I felt was absolutely necessary to get everything off my chest, not something that's normally negative. I try to roll with all the punches and I try my absolute hardest to bring my videos in a clear, concise manner with absolutely no bias whatsoever, because I believe that facts are everything. I do my best to give that information, those facts, completely unabridged and raw so that you guys can have all the information necessary to create your own informed opinion on the topic at hand, whether that be updates, leaks, DLC, new and future content, you name it. But I always try to stay as straight down the middle as possible. With the new introduction of Operation Grand Heist, we saw the introduction of the new reserve tab in the black market. This then shifted the focus on how reserves were granted as opposed to previous iterations of the black market in the previous two operations. We saw a lessened number of items in Blackjack's shop, though, albeit at the moment the items we have are a little more worthwhile, I think, than the items that we've seen previously. But we also then saw a shift in those items on offer as it combined the shop with the special orders and a daily random deal. So whereas opposed to previously you had, say, 8, 9, 10 things and then the special orders available, it's now only one condensed tab that offers 4 things. We also ended up seeing the Contraband stream introduced a new 100 tiers of items, and we saw the reserves tab offer up the ability to earn either via in-game playtime, the reserves starting at tier 1 as opposed to what tier 101 would then usually be the start point, and also the ability to buy crates, which contained 3 reserve items as opposed to just 1 from a case for 200 COD points or $2. Now, at its core fundamental level, I was actually okay with the reserves being granted before tier 100. In fact, I was actually kind of excited about that part because players could then start earning the items well before they ever could before, especially when there are some pretty awesome things in reserves this time around. And for a lot of casual players, it's not something that many of them may ever make it up to tier 100. They may end up doing it just to end up getting those weapons, and in this case, the Switchblade X9, but outside of that, you might not, as a casual player with full-on life responsibilities, get up as far as other people that grind out the game continuously. And so in that sense, it was great because players were then rewarded those items they may otherwise never have the chance to get. That's about where the excitement stopped here for me. Because where my inherent problem with the game's new system was that after tier 100, you earned literally nothing. No reserves like before, just nothing at all. You got a blank tier. And to make matters even worse, you even had the ability to buy tiers after 101 that would literally give you nothing. So you bought for $1, absolutely nothing, just a blank spot in your tier progression. Now, by all accounts, that does sound like a glitch, and I truthfully thought it would have been a glitch. However, upon verifying that information with people closer to the project and the design intent, it wasn't. I know that everyone will reference that one Activision support chat log that somebody was posting on Reddit that said the same thing, but I can assure you that outside of that information, I corroborated that story a little bit so that I knew exactly what information to bring you guys, and it wasn't a bug. And so, with the only way for players after tier 100 to earn any items at all, you'd have to rely on reserve cases, which took anywhere from 2 to 3 hours, and it would be literally impossible to get any items worthwhile from reserves or even anywhere close to the full catalog of items in reserves. I know that we detailed a very conservative number of 750 items within reserves, and truth be told, it's probably well over that, but if you broke it down to that, assuming you didn't have a duplicate, assuming all items were weighted the same, you had a 0.13% chance of pulling the item that you wanted out of reserves. And that's a very conservative number out of 750. Again, it could very easily be well over that. So it was almost an impossibility to get anything worthwhile or grind out anything in the game outside of paying for the drops, which is where my immediate focus then went. Sure, it's great to reward the player up front for that standard grind, but whenever you put in either the time or the money to get up to that point and there be nothing afterwards, because after that, it hardcore funnels players to the paid DLC model, and that's just predatory and inherently wrong in my books. So that's where we were as of Thursday evening, but thankfully, and truth be told, much to my surprise, we got to change the system big time, and it's actually something that I think is a great step in the right direction. We'll talk about a little bit later that I don't think it's exactly 100% where I want it to be, but it does correct a lot of the errors that we talked about on Thursday's video. So directly from Treyarch verbatim, they said this week's update brought several changes to the black market, including an inventory system, simplification of the Blackjack shop UI, and the new ability to earn Blackjack's reserve cases by playing the game on top of earning new items with each tier in the Contraband stream. The goal of this system was to give more players more frequent access to content and reserves, as players could now earn them from the start by playing the game rather than only gaining access after completing tier 100. However, by moving progress towards reserve up front instead of at the end end of the stream, this had an unintended effect on players who progressed through the first 100 tiers. Initial earn rates for Blackjack's reserve cases through gameplay were also too slow. These issues and more are being resolved today, or as of yesterday because this came out late last night. Effective immediately, reserve cases have been added back to the tiers at the end of the Contraband stream, and players will continue to earn progress towards cases for gameplay time while progressing through the stream. Daily tier skips after tier 100 also now work as before, granting a case for each tier for players of all modes to ensure the original goal of allowing players to earn reserve items earlier and more frequently than in previous operations. Additionally, the earn rate for reserve cases through gameplay has been doubled to ensure players can earn cases faster at all times. Lastly, if you've already progressed beyond tier 100 during this operation, you will automatically be awarded with the same number of reserve cases that you would be able to earn for every tier completed since that point in this operation. This means no lost tier-based progress toward reserves, as your crates earned after tier 100 should be waiting for you once you've applied this evening's update. To recap, the black market progression has been updated to work as follows in this evening's update. Reserve cases are again earnable at every tier after 100 in the Contraband stream, and daily tier skips again apply to tiers after the tier 100 mark through play in all modes. The earn rate for reserve cases through playing the game has been doubled, and cases have been retroactively awarded to those who progress past tier 100 before this update for every additional tier completed. Now, firstly, I feel like I gotta say, holy crap, I, one, can't say that I expected this to come at all, let alone as fast as it did, and two, I really appreciate this as an open and transparent way to talk to the community about this. Now, I gotta say the one part does sound like damage control a little bit, the unintended effect on how players progressed after tier 100. I heard differently with that. I heard that that was intentional, but regardless, I'm glad that it's open and being communicated about this and based directly off of the feedback of the community. Because truth be told, I think that if a lot of people didn't make their voices heard, I think this wouldn't have made its way to the top of the priority desk for Treyarch, Activision, whoever may be in charge of this specific design intent. I'm very happy that this was addressed. I'm very happy that it was changed. And is it completely better? I don't think it's perfect, but I do think it's a step in the right direction. I mean, we still have people in the zombies front that, to my knowledge, doesn't have all that much still accounted for. Admittedly, I haven't heard anything or done too much digging on the zombies end, but from beforehand, they didn't have any ability to earn reserves, and it was something that their time really wasn't accounted for. So I'm hoping that gets changed out. Then it comes down to the thing where, well, the game's $60, we have a $50 season pass, and there's still a ton of micro DLC that is being pushed as what would be comparable to the equivalent of a free-to-play game. And so in that sense, there's a lot of things that I still don't agree with. I'm still not a fan of individual weapon camos that dilute the loot pool a ton. I'm still not a fan of how many stickers there are. I'm still not a fan of how you still have dupes and everything in these drops, but this is at least a step in the right direction. You can still grind out the game even after you complete the tiers. You can end up getting these reserve cases faster, twice as fast actually now. And so while I don't think that it fixed every single issue with this brand new system and the either intentional or unintentional way that it kind of feeds into the paid aspect of DLC models with this and the reserve crates and not necessarily the cases that you can organically earn, I am by no means saying that all of the issues are resolved, but I do think that this is at least a step in the right direction. And that's something that I hope for a little bit further going forward with Treyarch, is a little bit of transparency on this kind of stuff, a little bit more communication. We saw, the roadmap for Operation Grand Heist is a fantastic step in the right direction, starting with that and the content here that comes out of that. If we can see that sort of communication, that sort of here's everything that we have laid out, and just be open with these kind of things, I think that's an absolutely great start. Now, of course, I know that there are some things that they cannot talk about at the very moment, but things like this, if it would have been said from the very beginning immediately, wow, that's a bug. Well, that's one thing that honestly I think would have been great and put out of the fire before it even began. But the 3 days of silence to then issue a statement and then retroactively fix the problem, that is great, but it still has that problem persist and inadvertently smears a lot of the community's thoughts on the system itself. But I digress. I'm happy it's fixed. I'm happy I can now earn my reserves past tier 101, and I'm happy that people then can also still progress through tier 100 and get all their normal items out of the regular Contraband stream, plus also earn reserves at a faster rate. I'm glad we had a little bit of resolution here on this. I'm glad Treyarch was straight with us and gave us an answer and then fixed the system at hand. And I honestly gotta say thank you to you guys, because I know myself, I made a video, I know my friend Prestigious Key made a video. I know a bunch of other people made content about this, talking about how BS it actually was, that whenever you got to a certain point, it was essentially you were funneled to paying for the DLC. And there was honestly almost no chance of getting anything out of that organically. I know that we talked about this kind of stuff, but your spreading of it, your sharing of it, your liking the video, your engagement, and your willingness to spread your voice as well, and your support showcasing the agreement either here on the channel, over on Reddit, on Twitter, Facebook, wherever it may be that you post about it, those cumulative voices at the end of the day, we got the job done, we made some change in Black Ops 4. And so while we can ultimately be happy that Treyarch or Activision, whoever decided to change this ultimately, while we can be happy with them that we ended up getting that change, I think we can also be just as happy in ourselves for standing our ground and sticking up for what we believe in. Sticking up for something that we genuinely think was a situation that did us, the players, wrong. We stood our ground, we stood by our convictions, and at the end of the day, I'm just happy with all of us. So that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. Love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Are you guys happy with this adjustment? Do you guys think that, like I said, there is still some work to be done, but right now this is a decent step in the right direction? Do you guys disagree wholeheartedly? Whatever it may be, feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But that said, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new and want to stay up to date with all things Black Ops 4, MP, Blackout, Zombies. We got you covered the best of updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, there's the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube, where I can live on both those. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But let's send it out of the way. Thank you guys all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.